Sam Bankman-Fried facing a slew of charges from the U.S. government, including, and the SEC, wire fraud and money laundering. The Bahamian judge denying bail to the former billionaire. SBF's next court date will be February 8th. Now, his legal team is signaling they will try to fight extradition, but until then, he'll remain in the Fox Hill prison. One prison officer reportedly said 3 years ago the jail is, quote, not fit for humanity. Others saying the prison is infested by rats and maggots. Larry Levine is the director of the founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants. He joins us now for an exclusive interview. You have such a unique perspective. I was reading a little bit about it. Talk to me about this, Larry. From your website, essentially, you guide clients through the phases of the federal indictment, the trial, the sentencing. What are your overall thoughts on this case, SBF trying to fight extradition? What would you advise him to do?
Well, first of all, his sentencing guideline levels in the U.S. sentencing guidelines, he's off the charts. It tops out at level 43, which essentially is 30 years to life. And he's going to head back to the United States sooner or later. So the question is, do you really want to sit in a Bahamian jail, taking a dump in a bucket with no telephone, no mail, no visits, no medical care, sleeping on the floor? Or do you want to come back to the States where you're going to end up anyway? But he's caught between a rock and a hard place. The inmate rumor mill, which I'm tied into, is there's already hits out on him. People here in the U.S. want him dead. And there's two kinds of people. Look, the guy wasn't smart enough to pull this off on his own. So he had people helping him. If you look on the investor side, the investors are out for blood. They know they're never going to get their money back. It's highly unlikely. They want him to suffer a painful death. Then you've got the people that helped him out that probably have the money, and they want to kill him to shut him up. And the likelihood of the Federal Bureau of Prisons being able to protect him is slim. I mean, let's take a look at Jeff Epstein sitting in a high security facility. Someone got to him. I mean, if you want to believe what the official report is, I think it's BS. Look at Whitey Bulger back in, 2-3 years ago, moved from one prison to another. They knew he was high risk. How long did it really take for someone to cut out his tongue with a pair of pliers and crack his head open like a watermelon?
Well, let me jump in if I can.
He's screwed no matter what he does.
Yeah, if I can really quickly, Larry, I'm limited on time with you. I wanted to ask you this if I can, because in terms of legalities here, SBF, as you know, went on a media blitz. He spoke to the New York Times in recent weeks. He had a sit-down interview with ABC News. He spoke to Forbes. But he never made it to his hearing with the House, the committee, the financial committee in the House. He was going to give testimony. He never made that. He was arrested a little less than 24 hours prior to that. But the statements made and the things that he said to media prior to that arrest, does that play out in court for him in any way?
Well, I mean, they could call it relevant conduct. They could take anything he said and use that against him. He could essentially be sentenced for something he didn't even do. A quick example. Let's say that you're counterfeiting credit cards and you do 10 of them for $1,000 each. There's $10,000, but they find 90 blank cards, or they're going to call it intended loss of revenue, even though it didn't happen. So the feds can package cases and charges against people. Nothing is really real. If they want to get someone, they're going to. And if you want to know what's really happening in the prisons, go to my Facebook group, BOP Federal Prison Early Release. Yeah. You can find out, because I have thousands of inmates and their families on there. Yeah. I've got inmates on there who have cell phones illegally in prison that chime in. So Bankman is screwed no matter what he does.
All right, let me jump in really quick. I'm out of time. I know that you spent 10 years in a federal prison. Again, according to your website,
11 different prisons.
11 different prisons. So you would know. Bottom line, I want to leave it on this. Does SBF see that maximum penalty, that 115 years, something like Bernie Madoff? Is he going to actually see a major sentencing like that?
Let's put it like this. He's not going to a country club. He's not going to go to the so-called Club Fed. He's going to go somewhere where they're going to have to pipe in sunlight. And he's living in his own personal hell right now, probably until the day he dies.
All right, we'll leave it right there. Director and founder of Wall Street Prison Consultants there. We appreciate that. Larry Levine, thank you so much.